Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. The government has launched an AI chatbot named Artificial Intelligence Fact Check Assistant, or AIFA. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil says the chatbot initiative, led by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), is aimed at combating fake news and allowing users to verify information online. AIFA would be able to verify text messages in 4 main languages: English, Malay, Mandarin and Tamil, and is accessible via WhatsApp and the Sebenarnya.my portal. It uses algorithms to cross-check information with reliable sources and help users verify the accuracy of information spread through the application. Currently, Fahmi said AIFA only accepts inputs in text format. It will be expanded to include various formats in the future. Meanwhile, Fahmi revealed that MCMC had requested the removal of 19,546 fake news items from online platforms last year. As of yesterday, 1,575 fake news items had been flagged for removal and 1,233 had already been taken down. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp, is expected to obtain its application service provider class license soon. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil confirms that Meta has submitted the required documents yesterday and that the ministry is in the midst of processing them. The MCMC is still reviewing the compliance status of tech giants like Google and Microsoft that manage LinkedIn and X. Google had previously argued that it is not a social media platform, though the ministry asserts that parts of its YouTube platform, like YouTube Shorts, function similarly to TikTok. Meanwhile, X has claimed to have less than 8 million users in Malaysia, exempting it from licensing requirements. As of now, 3 platforms, WeChat, TikTok and Telegram, have obtained their application service provider ASP licenses. The new regulation, effective January 1st, mandates licensing for social media platforms and messaging services with over 8 million users in Malaysia to enhance online safety and combat cybercrime. Employers intending to extend business closures beyond the official Chinese New Year public holidays are reminded not to force employees to take annual or unpaid leave. The Human Resources Ministry says it has received complaints about workers being pressured into taking leave under such circumstances. The ministry said in a statement today that annual leave and unpaid leave should only be granted at the employee's own request. It said employees denied annual leave or wages due to business closures beyond official public holidays can report the issue to the nearest Labour Department under Section 69 of the Employment Act 1955. This issue stems from businesses closing before and after the official Chinese New Year holidays on January 29th and 30th. Companies will soon be required to hire up to 3 interns for every expatriate employee under the Human Resources Ministry's internship policy that will begin its pilot phase next month. Does this labour policy have merit? Niaz Asadullah from the Global Labour Organization shares his take.
There is growing domestic political pressure on the one hand to reduce dependence on foreign labor, while at the same time creating more provisions for youth employment. On the other hand, business leaders are demanding that the government lifts restrictions on hiring foreign workers. So with this policy, the government is trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Therefore, I see this one, for every expatriate hiring 3 interns as a policy which kind of is a pragmatic compromise, one that aims to balance the interests of both young job seekers as well as local businesses. Having said that, the policy's practicality depends on its implementation. For instance, think about small and medium enterprises. Most of the SMEs in Malaysia operate with constrained budgets and have limited human resources, which may make it very difficult for them to onboard and manage multiple interns. Ultimately, therefore, the policy success really depends on whether the government provides clear guidelines to industry folks, provide adequate incentives, and ensure sufficient support to help companies, particularly SMEs, implement the policy without having to compromise labor productivity.
Niaz outlined how Malaysia can ensure that internships not only serve as a bridge into the labour market, but also align with long-term workforce objectives.
On the question of sustainability, particularly in the long run, there are three factors that I would like the government to take into account. First is to ensure that companies recognize the value of hosting interns. We really don't want this to be yet another informal mechanism for youths to onboard the labor market. It has to be structured, but at the same time, companies really have to feel that this is worth as part of their recruitment strategy to engage and hire interns. The second one is to create clear pathways for interns to transition into full-time employment, having completed their internship. And the third point is to continuously align the internship program's objectives with evolving market demands.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Rambut gugur lagi? Macam mana Gunakan Pantene Baharu dengan provitamin mikro yang meresap dan menguatkan rambut dari dalam. Rambut 10 kali lebih kuat terhadap rambut gugur. Pantene Baharu.
Apakah legasi? Setiap detik yang kita lalui bagi perkara yang bermakna. Segala daya yang dicurahkan untuk membina warisan abadi. Setiap langkah yang diharungi demi mencapai impian masa depan. Sebagai rakan kewangan seumur hidup anda, Sun Life Malaysia komited melindungi segala yang paling bermakna. Layari sunlifemalaysia.com.
Kerap menggaru kulit kepala disebabkan keluh mumur, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head & Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi keluh mumur dan kegatalan. Bebas keluh mumur sehingga 100%. Head & Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Welcome back. Tens of thousands of Palestinians started to return to their homes in the northern part of the devastated Gaza Strip on Monday after 15 months of forced displacement. The return followed an announcement by Qatar on Sunday evening that Hamas and Israel had reached an agreement to release Israeli hostage Arbel Yehud and 2 others by Friday. Hamas is expected to release 3 additional hostages on Saturday. Under the Israel-Hamas agreement, Israel has allowed the displaced Palestinians to return to the northern Gaza Strip starting Monday morning. Drone footage captured by the China media group showed that a long stretch of crowd resembles a huge, slow-moving wave making its way up Gaza's coast, with most traveling on foot and carrying what little belongings they have left on their backs. It also showed that vehicles were inching forward for kilometers toward the neighborhoods now reduced to rubbles. Until Monday, they had spent many months exiled in makeshift refugee camps after Israeli forces ordered large-scale evacuations. U.S. President Donald Trump says he wants Congress to pass a bill that includes an increase in funding to secure the country's borders. Trump remarks this in a speech to House of Representatives Republicans gathered at his Doral Resort in Miami to discuss how to turn the president's policy priorities into a legislative agenda.
In the coming weeks, I'm looking forward to working with Congress on a reconciliation bill that financially takes care of our plans to totally and permanently restore the sovereign borders of the United States once and for all. This should include full funding for a record increase in border security personnel and retention bonuses for ICE and Border Patrol. These people are incredible people. I got to know them so well.
Trump said the extra money should also pay for more detention beds, border security infrastructure and barriers, as well as completion of the border wall along the border with Mexico. During the GOP event, Trump also said he had raised a lot of money for the next presidential race and appeared to joke about running again by saying that he was not sure if he was allowed to run again. The Republican who took office last January 20th also spoke about TikTok, tariffs and tax cuts expected during his administration. In the same event, Trump also touched on the impact of Chinese startup DeepSeek.
Today and over the last couple of days, I've been reading about China and some of the companies in China, one in particular, coming up with a faster method of AI and much less expensive method. And that's good because you don't have to spend this much money. I view that as a positive, as an asset.
Investors sold technology stocks across the globe on Monday over concerns the emergence of a low-cost Chinese artificial intelligence model would threaten the dominance of the current US-based AI leaders. Trump said Chinese leaders had told him the United States had the most brilliant scientists in the world, and he indicated that if Chinese industry could come up with cheaper AI technology, US companies would follow. Colombian President Gustavo Petro accused a foreign force of occupying the Catatumbo region, framing it as a national sovereignty issue rather than merely an internal conflict. During a cabinet meeting in Ocana, Petro underscored the impact of foreign ELN fighters, expressing concerns over the internal protests of local ELN members whose families have been affected. Therefore, Petro called for a separation of revolutionary-minded ELN members from paramilitaries and drug traffickers to halt the violence. He warned that the ELN's paramilitarism could destroy both Colombia and Venezuela, urging for peace over conflict. The president's statements come amid heightened tensions and a declared state of emergency in the region, signaling a critical moment for Colombia's internal security and foreign policy. Thousands of Cubans illuminate Havana streets with torches as part of the traditional March of the Torches, commemorating the birth of national hero Jose Marti. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel and former President Raul Castro lead the procession. They were joined by government officials and representatives of the historic generation, referring to those who lived through or participated in the Cuban Revolution of 1959. The march, that primarily involves students who carried lit torches and Cuban flags, is held annually on the eve of Marti's birthday. The route runs from the University of Havana steps to the Fragua Martiana, a former prison-turned-museum where Marti was once detained. Initiated by the Federation of University Students of Cuba in 1953, the inaugural event marked the centenary of Marti, who was born on January 28, 1853, and died in combat in 1895 during Cuba's War of Independence from Spain. That wraps up AWANI tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Farhana Sheikh. Thank you for watching and good night.
Penyasaran subsidi